St. Brigid was born around 452. It would seem that her origin is not too far from here, and for her, which is a great place of pilgrimage on this day. Her father was a pagan chieftain, and her mother his slave. Her mother was sent away and sold, but after Brigid was old enough, she was returned to her father and put in charge of the dairy. She was known for her generosity to the poor and the needy. They tell of the way that she would be giving away flour and milk, and apparently even her father's jewel-encrusted sword. He was not amused. Once old enough and freed from slavery, she was sought after for marriage, but she had vowed to enter the religious life. And we have testimony in St. Patrick's Confessions of the way in which noble young girls were coming to him. They were being given the veil and the virginal consecration against their father's wishes. This movement was quite strong, the fruit of the work of the Holy Spirit in the first evangelization. And as it turned out, the church in Ireland, as in Wales, was to become very monastic in style, which gives it, in its development, a certain serenity, conquest through attraction, and the radiation of grace and its effects on the surrounding area. Also the fact that the brethren were ready for any good work, and they took the life with them. Therefore they weren't constricted. They didn't depend entirely on a structure of stone. They could move. It became a whole movement which an influence on European culture, peregrinatio propter Christum. It is said that she asked God to make her undesirable, and her face became disfigured until she made her vows, at which time her face recovered its beauty. Very different from what young girls do nowadays. Out to kill. She and several other women were consecrated to the religious life by St. Mel. Now he was operating in the Ardagh area, where actually one of our own has recently become bishop. He was chancellor of this diocese. And that cathedral was burnt, accidentally, through some electrical fault some years ago, but there was a miracle, for the statue of the Sacred Heart was completely undamaged. In the 1470s, Brigid founded the Kildare Abbey, Kildare Church of the Oaks. And of course in Kildare to this day she is the principal patron, and there also one of ours has become bishop. He was our Vicar General, or rather our Vicar Foreign here nearby, Dennis. This small oratory developed into a cathedral city, supporting a double monastery. That in itself is interesting. And when that happens, there is a huge force of mutual support and great radiation, and it was to be the case. The faith could be proclaimed quietly from such a centre. She worked in collaboration with the bishop of the area, St. Conrath. So there was one monastery for men and one for women. In this monastery, a centre for religion and learning. We know what learning meant in the Irish Church. Witness the Book of Kells, written perhaps not far from here. Irish missionaries, therefore, were sent from there to preach and to teach, therefore contributing to the spread of Christianity throughout the country. She herself travelled extensively and founded many convents. That could explain her widespread popularity. Actually, near the place where our family farm is in Wales, there is a little town, Llansanfraid, the church of St. Brigid. Her name reappears in quite a few places well away from Ireland in different forms. She founded a school of art, which specialised in metalwork and illumination. Her scriptorium produced the Book of Kildare. Known for her wisdom and her generosity, stories and miracles surround her life. She died around 524. A few years after, therefore, the saint of this village, Duleek, 489, was the death of St. Keenan, a disciple of St. Patrick. And here we are in the plenitude of the explosion of grace in the Celtic Church, the western fringe, where even in the eventual impending Dark Ages, the light of learning and faith was maintained, rightly called, therefore, the island of saints and scholars. But it was based and anchored in the serenity of the contemplative life, one that was able to overflow. Austere, liturgical, and very prolonged with regard to the amount of time spent in choir, the daily psalter. We have in the writings of St. Patrick the way actually that he was going around and setting things up. And the figure of the bishop and therefore priest was central, for God comes through that channel. It's not enough to have people going around with the word. The project of God is divine and explicit. And therefore, when that is maintained, there is an order, a serenity. We need to recuperate something of that. We are good at inventing things of our own, but when things are picked up quietly in the serenity of contemplative prayer, God is the prime mover, and the casualties are fewer. What is the nonsense of being so thinly spread that we cannot find time for the one that we are serving and miss the adventure of love itself?